Overcoming Genetic Malfunction Retrograde 5. Hello. Genes rather interfere with our progress toward success. Let's find out about these genetic malfunctions. The author took an applied cognitive psychology course, and the subject was heuristic. In a nutshell, heuristics can be described in a situation where time and information are scarce, where rational judgment cannot be made or does not need to be made. It refers to people making quick and predictive decisions. Here, the author finds out why humans make errors. Representatively, I know that it is not helpful in life such as Sense and YouTube. I have an example of wasting my life watching stimulating content for more than an hour without knowing it. Feeling joy and pleasure from the release of dopamine made our survival more favorable in prehistoric times. If you find new fruit or catch prey and eat to your full stomach, dopamine was secreted. Humans feel pleasure in the secretion of dopamine, and moving it with motivation is advantageous for survival. But modern social media and YouTube only secrete meaningless dopamine. You encounter randomly stimulating videos such as funny things, cool dance moves of the opposite sex, and strange scenes. Our brains see stimulating content and mistake it. You're looking for something to eat. You're looking for a mate. He says, rewarding pleasure, but in reality, nothing improves. It eats away at life on its own and even causes brain damage. This is a genetic malfunction. In addition to this, there are many cases of multiple genetic malfunctions. With these genetic malfunctions, humans seem like rational animals, but they live by making many mistakes. The author explains through Gary Marcus' book, Kludge, how the brain evolves and makes these errors. Kludge refers to machines or solutions that have been stuck up measures that are not perfect. The human body and mind are also examples of kludge. Rather than finding a perfect solution in the course of evolution, humans evolved as a temporary measure according to the circumstances. The human spine is modified for upright walking in the spine of a four-legged beast. So although it is vulnerable to back pain, it is free to use your hands. Going one step further, we argue that the human brain is also kludge. The human brain is said to contain the reptilian brain, the mammal brain, and the human brain through several stages of evolution. The purpose of this evolution was to survive. But it wasn't perfect, so it's always built in old versions. It evolves by adding new things in the presence of old versions. That's why there's kludge that's not sophisticated and messed up. Through kludge, we can see that the gene is malfunctioning. Genetic malfunction in the past has been helpful for survival. Currently, it refers to unnecessary or harmful genetic characteristics. This time, I'll give you an example of a moth. Moths have an instinct to fly in the moonlight. There are cases where you are deceived by modern, artificial light and die. Why do they die on their own? It's because it's in the moth's genes. This is due to the entered genetic code. Moths travel at night to avoid predators. The genes of moths are thoroughly helpful for survival. But in modern times, light bulbs have emerged. The moth just followed the genetic code, mistaking the light bulb for moonlight. You end up dying. In modern times, genetic codes that were advantageous for survival are rather It was a death inducement. The same goes for humans. Prehistoric times, when you encounter a scary animal, it's hard to avoid it. It was a strategy of survival. If he came at the tiger for a new challenge, he would have been injured or killed. Rather, the benefits are not directly challenged, but return to those who waited behind the scenes. We are now the descendants of fine-headed cowards. These cautious genes were necessary in the past, but today they remain inferior kludge. If you try YouTube blogs, new platforms, X, and fail, you won't die. But our coward kludge and lazy brains give orders to do nothing and be at ease. Doing nothing today eventually results in free deprivation. In the end, genetic malfunction negatively affects our thinking and behavior. There are 3 ways to overcome this genetic malfunction. The first is not to be afraid of reputation. Reputation malfunctions cause us to be swayed by other people's eyes, unable to demonstrate our talents or passion, and anxious about nothing. It is important to establish your own identity and values, and not to be swayed by other people's evaluations. The second is that you don't hesitate to learn new things. Genetic malfunction for new experiences is that if we're satisfied with our current lives, you tend to keep the habits you've maintained so far. Because of this, we feel repulsed to learn or try new things, and avoid change and challenge. To overcome, it's important to recognize how this can have a positive effect on your brain and life, and to start at least once. The third is to eliminate the tendency to avoid loss. This is a tendency to overstress or make irrational choices to avoid loss. For example, in investing in stocks, the tendency to avoid losses leads us to lose money and continue to lose money, or to sell off good-yielding stocks early. To overcome this, you should have a habit of going against the commands of your genes and ignoring them for losses. I think that if we practice the above methods, we can live a more rational, creative, and happy life. The author also overcame the malfunction of the gene and started YouTube. In the first month, I tried to be frustrated because I had less than 100 subscribers. But I thought my desire to give up was a genetic malfunction. By acknowledging their poor skills and analyzing videos of well-known YouTubers, they eventually become famous YouTubers, expand their connections with masters, and succeed in their business. I will also practice hard today to overcome genetic malfunction and become rich.